Okay, yes, we're on the right one. We're good. Yeah, I've got to refresh the stream feed. There we go. My heart like sank when I turned the stream on and it said enable monetization to insert ads. Because like I just spent like the past like 5 minutes like getting it all set up and stuff for the stream.
Oh yeah.
Because like apparently they've added like a bunch of new stuff for it since I last streamed.
Oh,
like
really?
YouTube can like automatically insert all the ads and stuff rather than like having to do that.
Oh,
no, we're good. It's working. Okay, so it's live now. I'm just gonna send it on my Twitter real quick.
Cool.
So have you played Halo before?
I have a little bit. I have like 10 hours of playtime in this one specifically.
How are we
From
feeling
like a while
about it so
ago.
far?
I think this game's fun. I just like I never really had a consistent like reason to play it, I guess.
Fair.
I was always drawn to other stuff, but I like it. I think this game's really like this game's multiplayer honestly is. I haven't played any of the campaigns for any of them.
You gotta hop on the campaigns, dude. The campaigns
Yeah, I've
so,
heard like
so good.
I did like a bunch of like just like couch co-op like in Halo 3 like back in the day, but I never really dove into like the
Halo 3 campaign.
campaigns.
Oh my god. That game is absolute peak. I've replayed the mission Floodgate and from that game like so many times. Okay,
Yeah, I think there was a time I was just gonna like play through them, but I never got around to it.
Okay, speaking of Halo 3, I'm gonna try put us in the Halo 3 playlist.
Sounds good.
I have no idea how sweaty this is gonna be because I've been fine with it, but I've heard people say like it's really sweaty, so I don't know how you'll find it.
We'll see. I'm sure it'll be fine.
No Dragon Slayer, this is Halo Infinite. This is just a playlist of Halo 3 maps and Halo Infinite's engine. Hello,
I haven't played this in a while, so I'm probably gonna be great. Hello, everybody. Oh, there you go.
Just so everyone knows in the stream chat, the Dragons Rising review is coming. It's just taking 5 million years to produce and I've been really busy. Alright, I'm going to answer this question. What do you think of the fact that Doc White confirmed there will be more than 2 seasons?
A good thing.
I mean, we've just come off of a 15 season show. I'd be surprised if there was only 2.
I would be very disappointed if there was only 2.
Yeah.
That would be very upsetting.
If like right after Ninjago beat the going on for too long allegations, it just stopped.
It just stopped. It got like 40 episodes of Dragons Rising. It was like, all right, that's a
it.
wrap.
That would be such a like colossal fumble.
I mean, it'd kind of be similar to the whole OD trilogy thing, where it's like we kind of got like this really interesting, like somewhat soft reboot of Ninjago, only for them to kind of like can it in favor of the new 11-minute format pretty quick.
Yeah,
but not. It would be a very like extreme version of that.
Yeah, except it's just like I assume done forever.
Yeah, the show just ended completely, and not even just like another show after it.
That would be so weird if we ended like after season 2.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I never expected that. I always thought, as long as Netflix isn't gonna, you know,
Netflix
screw us
doesn't really
over.
have too much of a say in Dragons Rising. Like I know it's like the main platform for
Yeah.
it, but like say over in the UK, it's like not related to Netflix at all. It comes out on ITVX.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
which is stupid, and I hate that. And I don't care how many people tell me to. I'm not making an ITVX account to watch this show.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's amazing, but oh, sorry, you killed that. Sorry, I'm not making an ITVX account for one show.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'm glad that they're like taking their time with like revealing stuff too, because there was like another conversation I think Doc Wyatt replied to where asking about like Zane and like how he came back, and he was like, yeah, we'll answer that, but not for a while. And I'm like, that's kind of exciting to me. I like that we're having like long form mysteries, that not even season 2 is gonna wrap up everything. It's like they're actually planning it out for like even just 3 seasons for a full-on storyline. I mean, maybe they'll do even more. We don't really know, but like,
I think that's. So
I'm excited about that. I think that's cool.
I think Ninjago is like best when it does like these long-form, like elaborate stories, like with the Oni trilogy and with like the original 2 seasons. So
yeah.
The fact that that's just like the format for Ninjago now, I'm just so happy about that.
It's just so refreshing. I mean, I'm like just being left with like so many questions by the end of season 1 is just so exciting compared to like finishing a season and having no clue like what they're gonna even do next.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, they're gonna get pulled out of their monastery and go to another magical world again.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all gonna sort itself out by the end.
They're gonna go on another adventure next time, guys. Can't wait to see.
I remember how weak that was, like during like the first 3 like World Brain seasons. Like, people were like, oh no, there is connectivity. There's a line about like farming orcs in Prime Empire.
Dude, the funniest thing to me is Mass of the Mountain ending. Like this whole thing is like, oh, actually, we're gonna go on another adventure.
And they go
and
home.
Then we are at the island, and they're just completely
They have the perfect chance to tie those 2 in together.
Like that's the easiest one to do, especially when you especially when the next season is called The Island.
Just have them crash over the island.
Just have them all go to the island at the same time. Like, I don't think that would even change the plot that much, other than the fact that
Clutch
you
Powers wouldn't be there, but like he can just go there anyways. Like they don't have to
just have
Saving Misako to be there.
I mean, Misako could go too. Just have them go separately, and then like when Wu and the ninja get there, they like learn about that they're there and they're captured.
I mean, Ninjago has had like wilder coincidences before. Like that wouldn't be like really out of the.
That wouldn't bother me. Yes, but it's just. It's like, wow, yeah, they weren't even trying there to make that work.
I just think the idea of them like going like, oh, let's go on another adventure, and just immediately turning around and going home is so funny.
Yeah. I assume I guess in canon they had to have gone on something.
Yeah. I get
but we just never got to see it.
An open-ended conclusion, and I like
which
that,
is really strange. Because why would you end a season like that to have a non-canon story or have a canon story that we never get to see? And that we have never heard about, not even in passing. Like they've never even.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. It's so
funny. And then
funny.
Tommy Kalma is like, "Ooh, we should make that a book."
Yeah. Watch in a billion years, we're gonna get the Ninjago Legacy 2 short of the missing adventure.
After mastered the mountain.
Yeah. Like the 5-minute story that they stumbled upon. Yeah, that's always been funny to me. But interconnectivity is good within the seasons. It's something I feel like we've been missing for a while, and even when we got it, it was kind of sparse. It was like, okay, here's a setup for a villain. I just jumped off the edge. Here's a setup for a villain or something, but not much else.
Yeah.
It's usually a small little teaser, like the equivalent of a Marvel end credit scene, pretty much. It's usually what we would get, not multiple open-ended plot lines that would need to be resolved.
It's just so cool that Ninjago is an actual story again, and not a bunch of loosely connected pieces that barely come together.
Yeah, it's actually like a coherent thing. Which is cool. And obviously we're gonna have to see season 2 how well of a job does it do at continuing it, but I have pretty good confidence, pretty good faith given how part 1 and part 2
I agree.
went.
I mean, there's a chance they'll like screw it up. Like Ninjago have like fumbled bigger opportunities before, but
yeah, there's always the chance of that.
But I got in there. As long as it keeps being good, I'll keep having faith.
Yeah. So it's like one of those things where it's like if I'm hooked on something, I kind of like I'd rather not think of the worst case scenario.
Yeah, I'd rather like let myself be excited.
Yeah. But also not like over like immersing myself in it to like the point with like Crystallized where like if it does disappoint you, it's like I'm not completely immersed in Dragons Rising to the point where if season 2 isn't very good, I'm not gonna like you know, be nearly as upset.
I mean, the thing with Crystallized isn't that like, oh, it's just a stinker, whatever. It's that it was like the stinker.
Yeah. That is true.
But like, I do agree about like the over-immersion thing. Like, I remember I was watching Ninjago Cast, and I think you guys talked about that, and I thought that was interesting as hell. Like, for a while, I've kind of wondered, like, if you just put someone with like no prior knowledge of the show, like, give them a TV and made them watch the whole thing, what they'd think of Crystallized. Which is why I really like Seabloom's series.
Yeah, Seabloom literally going from the very start of the show
they'll probably like
Crystallized in a year.
And then he still
had major issues with it. Like, man, dude, those reactions are so funny to me because it's like, it's just so interesting to see someone experience that everything, the whole like roller coaster of emotions. It's almost like terrible because I hate recommending anyone to watch the entirety of Ninjago now because I know they're gonna get so immersed and like if they end up falling in love with it like Seabloom kind of did for a while,
and then they're just like, gonna have their hearts shattered into a million
and then
pieces.
They just get it shattered, especially when you like. It's like my literal favorite season is right before my least favorite season, so I'm like anticipating. Oh, I can't wait to see his reaction to Seabound.
Banger.
I can't wait to see how he reacts to Seabound because I love it so much. And then in the back of my head, I'm just like, oh, but Crystallized is right after this. And it sucks, but at least we have Dragons Rising now to be like, okay.
Yeah,
but
when
at
you
this point, it's like
someone something, it's just like, trust me, just stick through Crystallized, it gets good again.
At this point, though, like if I'm gonna introduce someone to Ninjago, I'm just gonna have them watch Dragons Rising first. I'll be like, here's Dragons Rising. Like if you're interested to see like the backstory to everything and like how the show like came about, then watch the original run. Just know the quality is very up and down sometimes. Because like I feel like Dragons Rising is a very good introduction to the show, and I think it does a better job of like just being a. I mean, we only have one season, so it's hard to say. But just being an overall quality product all the way through, start to finish.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
like,
much shorter,
so far
it's much easier to be like...
kind of like Oni trilogy tier the whole way through.
Yeah, it's like, it's much easier to be like, hey, here's like 20 episodes of Ninjago that you can start right now without knowing anything and just watch it and just be introduced to the show. Instead of being like, here's a billion seasons. Don't worry about the ones that...
By the way, and the final one sucks.
By the way, the final one sucks. It will pretty much make you be like, why did I even bother watching this? Actually, especially for someone who gets into it and watches it in a year.
But, like,
yeah, I don't.
It's like near that.
I think the Oni trilogy. I think it's good for like different reasons almost. Like, because I think it has elements that the Oni trilogy definitely had, but I think it plays to different strengths.
Yeah, like it's not like
the Oni trilogy.
Grimdark.
Yeah, Oni trilogy really rooted itself in like, kind of like not really realism, but like it was more grounded.
Yeah.
And it told a very like, I guess, you know, Dragons Rising does have a very emotionally driven story with Sora, which is like probably my favorite part of the whole thing, and I think that's like the closest to like the Oni trilogy vibes. But I feel like Dragons Rising just has a lot more like, it takes itself less seriously almost. Yeah. I think. Which I think is it's a different take. It's like almost where the Oni trilogy kind of takes itself too seriously at points. Dragons Rising like doesn't really take it seriously or itself as much seriously, so it's more fun overall. It's more lighthearted.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think like they both kind of have very different tones, even if like quality-wise they're very similar and they share a lot of the same elements.
I mean, the thing with Dragons Rising for me is that I feel like the Oni trilogy comparisons are best felt at like the very end, Like, you know that scene with Lloyd and the Source Dragon where he's like, oh, like, by the way, like, I made elemental powers.
Oh yeah.
That, like, gave me huge Oni Trilogy vibes, because it's like, I don't know, the kind of, like, scope of what Ninjago is doing has, like, started getting bigger again. Like, I was thinking about this the other day, right? But look at, like, the entire culmination of, like, the Wild Brain, like, saga, right? With, like, the Overlord versus Lloyd fight. Not from, like, a choreography perspective, because I think, like, it's, like, really good from a choreography perspective, but from, like, a scale perspective and, like, the music and that. And then compare it to, like, the Cloud Kingdom fight in episode 5.
Yeah.
And it's, like, just Dragons Rising is just bigger.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of helps with the whole, like, actually feeling like a continuation thing, because around, like, the Oni Trilogy, it's the same map again. Around the Oni Trilogy, Ninjago kind of just stopped getting higher in terms of its scales.
Yeah, it kind of went, like, for more... The thing with a lot of the Wild Brain arrows, like, kind of went for, like, smaller, like, more compact, like, one-off stories, almost. That didn't really have anything to do with each other. I think the closest thing was Seabound. Like, Seabound...
Yeah, that was the closest we got.
At that point, like, that's the highest stakes. To the point where Seabound's, like the whole Wojira attack is, like, more, like, threatening to Ninjago than, like, the Crystal Apocalypse was, you know? Like, they kind of, to the point where they kind of, like, shot themselves in the foot a little bit, where they're like, we have this really, like, dramatic, like, ending to a season. How do we make the finale of the show more impactful than that? And it's like, you can't really after that. You can't really go from Wojira flooding all of Ninjago to, like, the Overlord, like, with, like, a bunch of crystals everywhere. It's just, it's not nearly as crazy. But then you have to merge.
Season, like, 10. Whereas, like, we just had, like, this giant horde of, like, the literal embodiment of darkness invade and, like, turn every living being across all the realms to stone. How do you even begin to one-up that?
I feel like I would have felt that too if I was more invested in the March of the Onis conflict, because I feel like, to me, that didn't feel as threatening as it should have.
I mean, yeah, they could have presented it better, but, like the scale is still there.
But yeah, I can see that for sure. But, like, the merge is just on a whole other level, to the point where, like, if it affects the world building from a base, like, level, it changes the foundation of, like, the world itself, which in turn pretty much creates an entire new world for us to explore and an entire new setup for the show, making it, in my eyes, its own thing, you know? Yeah. Separate from anything we've seen before.
Well, yeah, changing the foundation really helps.
I think that's how you do it. I think that's how you do it, because, like, after stuff like Wojira, after stuff like the Oni takeover, like, how many times can you, like, have a cataclysmic event for Ninjago and have it be interesting every time, without literally changing how the world works and operates and, you know, is traversed and stuff? Which is just, it's so smart what they did.
What I like about it is that, like, the first, like, 5 or so seasons of Ninjago, and it probably is because I was a kid, but had this, like, really interesting sense of, like, discovery to it, which I feel like somewhere around season 6 just kind of was lost, because obviously you can't, like, discover the same world, like, you can only discover that so many times before it's like, okay, we know this place now, we know the ins and outs of it, but now we have no idea what's beyond, like, just Ninjago and Imperium, basically. Yeah.
I think it helps that they also used to, like, return to locations more in the past, so the world felt more connected. It felt like every location kind of had a purpose, because, you know, usually they'd either go there for a specific reason, or they'd return to it, or, like, it'd be reoccurring. But, you know, here it's over time they kind of just stopped doing that. They kind of just started introducing places no matter how weird they got. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, here's, like, Merlopia, never gonna see that place again. Like, here's, like, Shintaro. Okay, we'll have a few cameos of it. But, like, yeah, it's like, you can't really get a lot of mileage out of those, especially because they didn't do a great job, admittedly, of actually building out those locations. They kind of just go there.
Those locations were kind of just, like, springboards for, like, the villain of the season to jump off of.
And I think Dragons Rising could have a similar issue where, like, a lot of these places they're probably never going to go again, but at least these places feel real and fleshed out, so you kind of don't feel the need to go back. You kind of, like, get a good experience. I think there's only a few places, like, the only major place I have an issue with is the, like, the Lava Tide area, like, whatever that village was even called. I feel like we didn't learn anything about how that place really is. Like,
well, I mean, that's just like a
everything
smaller
else.
place in the wilderness.
And yeah,
And,
I get
like,
that.
we know,
It's
like,
just
Lord
like
Raz is from there, Wildfire's from
we
there, like a bunch of stuff
we
going on
spend
there.
like a lot of time in that village, and I feel like Dragons Rising has done such a good job of just every little place that they go to feels lived in and real, and that one just to me
Yeah.
kind of fell flat.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Obviously they're not going to stick the landing on every single piece of world building, you know. And it's kind of unfair to expect that.
I mean, like,
But if I had to criticize anything,
some random fishing village in Dragons Rising got like more fleshing out like than any like Wildbrain location.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah, that's a big
so
example
much.
I like to bring up too, because it's just, yeah, like I was kind of expecting something like that with like the whole lava tide like village,
Yeah,
like
that's
just
fair enough.
even just a simple concept, like algae farmers having to like, you know, fight off like Merlopians who have been under the control of like a giant crab, and then they learn to like work together at the end of the day because, you know, they learn like the whole secret of the crab and how it's controlling them. It's like this little small story that just makes like all the civilians are involved in an impactful way. Like it tells a good story, it has like a good message, and then like Aaron and Lloyd leave an impact on it and leave. It's just a perfect little like thing to like just build out this small place. I feel like we didn't really get that with the lava tide area.
I would love more episodes like Gangs of the Sea.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people
That one was
dismiss
really
11 through 15 for some reason. And
Yeah,
like I
I
just
don't
don't get why. This is so good.
There's so many good episodes. I think people just aren't really used to episodic format more. So like
Yeah. I
with
think this
Ninjago,
episodic
especially with
format
the
really
22
works.
minutes, it's like it's always been so serialized,
Yeah.
and like seeing episodes that aren't like completely plot relevant, even though they do great strides in like developing the characters and the world. Like honestly, those are the episodes I like more in the grand scheme of things.
Mm.
Is just the ones that just take us to a cool place, develop it out, develop the characters, have them learn a lesson, and just give us those small mini arcs that just like aid toward their like overall development.
It's kind of
That's
wild
like my
that
favorite
how
thing.
Dragons Rising is like way more episodic than ever, and yet it's like the most serialized Ninjago thing we've had in like years.
That's true. It takes its time and it tells its own like smaller stories while also having an overarching plot that just like
And that's ideal. That's absolutely ideal.
that goes over the whole show, which is really nice. But it doesn't tease you on these like plot threads and waits like a billion episodes to get to another plot like relevant one. It paces it out almost perfectly to the point where it's like, here's like a nice little fun adventure, but here's some like plot relevant stuff hinted like it throughout it. Like even in some of like the more like episodic episodes, you get like a B plot of like Imperium doing something, or like you get a development from a character that's like gonna be really important later. Like
Who do you think was controlling the crab?
the
Like
Kalmar after he
like
gets
Kalmar.
spit out by Woju, like
Kalmar.
Kalmar. That'd be hilarious. I wouldn't even be mad at that point, dude. I don't even. That would just be funny to me.
I think it'd be
And
funny if
they
everyone
already
just
have Val's
forgot who he is.
Phantoms. So. Yeah, that would be pretty funny.
Like he comes back, he's like, it's his eye, and everyone's just like, sorry, like who are you?
I feel like it'd be pretty hard though. I mean, I guess after the merge, like he'd probably end up somewhere like completely random, not even near Ninjago. But if he came back to Ninjago, people would probably remember that he was the one.
I mean, Ninjago sees a lot
who
of people like that.
Yeah, but I mean, he did like flood the entire city.
Yeah, true. I like that's just like an average Tuesday.
That's just the average Tuesday. Yeah. Now that would be funny. Yeah, Dragons Rising is. I don't think there's a single bad episode. I'm gonna be honest. Actually, I'm not a huge fan, and coincidentally, this is one of the few like most plot relevant episodes. I'm not a huge fan of episode 11.
What?
But other than that, like I can't think of another episode I don't really like that much.
I thought that one was sick.
I just something about. I think to me, like the episode 11's biggest problem is the way they set up the plot for part 2. I don't love the like we've seen Ninjago fetch quests a lot. I'm fine with them. My favorite season has one with the storm amulets and stuff. But like I just think it's like the most like uninspired plot setup of a fetch quest we've seen. And I don't think that episode really sold me on like the stakes of the dragon orbs and the and everything. I don't have a problem with the lore. I think the lore's cool actually. I like it. I just think the way that they I just think that the way that they set up the main kind of plot for the next like 9 episodes after was just kind of weak. But I mean that's kind of like, you know, other than that, also I feel like some of like the dialogue in the episode wasn't great, and some of like the whole like Lloyd lesson was a bit forced, but I mean it's all kind of like small complaints. I don't hate the episode. It's just if I was to pick an episode of Dragons Rising that I don't particularly love, it would probably be that one.
I really liked the dialogue. I think the dialogue is like one of my favorite bits of Dragons Rising overall, but in episode 11, I really liked it.
I think there's good.
You know when Sora's like, "How did you just like not tell us you're like kid?" And it's just like, never came up.
I do like that a lot. I think it's just a lot of the jokes, like pretty much every joke with Wildfire in that episode didn't really land for me. Pretty much like anything with Kai, like the whole Zane doing the door bit was like just kind of felt like a waste of time. It's like there's just a lot of little things to me in that episode that don't add up. That's fair enough. It just kind of creates an awkward experience for me for that one in specific. I think it kind of has the weakest script. But I mean, I think it has merit too. Like there's a lot of good scenes in it. There's a lot of funny moments, especially near the beginning when like Lloyd is like trying to manage the monastery. I think my favorite part is honestly when Zane like comes in and they're all like goofing off and like kind of Wildfire fighting, and he's like he's like, guys, I have something to tell you about. Get just like listen to me for 1 second. Like he's so done with everyone, and I kind of love that.
That opening bit, yeah, where everyone's just like basically screwing him off, is really funny.
I love the idea of Zane just being so annoyed by everyone else because he's the only person that's like actually trying to focus on the world-ending conflict.
There's like one brain cell between like everyone but him.
Yeah, it's just like it's so funny to me. It was like one of those moments where I was like, yes, this is Zane being like his own character right now, without having to like rely on a robot gimmick. Like this is just him being a character and having a character moment that's like very fitting for him.
God, that's so nice how they're not doing the stupid robot gimmicks anymore. I say that, I've probably just jinxed us, but screw it.
I mean, they've used the robot thing for a lot of comedic effect still, but like I don't mind it because a lot of it's actually funny.
And also it's like not nearly as egregious as like, I've downloaded 1 million detective movies.
Yeah, it's not like repetitive, like the same repetitive joke. Like the whole Zane Day thing was just like, it was really fun and creative and interesting, and it was like, it's like not the best thing for him to do, but like it's like cool. It's cool focus. I don't mind it. I think it's fun. I don't think it's like degrading him as a character. I think if anything, it gives him some interesting things to think about as a character.
I agree. I feel like that episode shows like they, at least like even if it's just subconsciously, like understand like what's wrong with Zane's character at the minute.
Yeah. And even though if they don't act on it immediately, I think eventually they probably will, especially when they get to the whole how he was even found.
Well.
Yeah. And if season 3 is like really about exploring, like if it really goes in depth with how Zane like came back and like the pod, I wonder if that'll be like character driven for him, if that'll be like a.
It was Echo Zane.
If that'll have importance. Yeah, it was completely. Oh wait, that's the same one. But yeah, it'd be funny if it was just Echo Zane and we were following like a different Zane the whole time. And then the real Zane comes back and he's like as poorly written as in the Wild Brain. And he's like, that's our Zane. No, like the real one comes back and he's
Zane.
like,
he's gonna be like, I've downloaded 100 Zane episodes to my head.
I've downloaded every good Zane episode. That would be funny.
There's only 5 of them.
I didn't have a lot to go by, so. Good thing I don't have a lot of hard drive space. I don't know, maybe Harumi upgraded like his own hard drive. Assuming
Yeah, when he became
was
Mr. E.
Yeah.
I just don't like Ninjago Confidential.
I don't mind it actually. I kind of like it for the memes.
I liked it like in the first year it was out, but like the more like that episode kind of completely like permanently derailed Zane for a while.
I guess, yeah.
Like,
I just kind of stopped. I think at the point where a lot of
how they write Zane.
They kind of stopped taking Zane seriously, but during that time. But like also Prime Empire, I've never been invested in it enough to take it seriously.
Yeah.
So it's like that. I feel like that episode fits Prime Empire very well. But yeah, it is a bit disappointing. And then like in Master of the Mountain, he's kind of just there, and then in Seabound, he's like a pirate for an episode again. It's like it's fun that they take that all the way from like Possession and do it again, but I don't know. I think even back in like Possession, it was kind of just like Zane's really whole purpose there was just like being a funny robot, and uh-oh, they made his voice louder. Uh-oh, he's a pirate now. Like,
I mean, like, it worked then because Zane was like still a character.
Yeah, he was like a character at the same time as like having dumb gimmicks.
Like,
but now when he's like a pirate,
if he'd just
that's
come
like
off
his
like an amazing
character.
like 4-season arc, I wouldn't be like as mad at like Return of the Ice Emperor, for example. But he didn't really.
Hopefully in Dragons Rising they give him like some kind of mini arc or something to go through, but at the same time when it comes to the old characters, I'm more concerned. I mean, I'm kind of more concerned about having the new characters get cool arcs and everything.
Yeah.
As long as the old characters get something fun to do that's like in line with their personality.
I see people in the chat talking about if the Omega should return. And I'm just thinking like, no.
I don't think so. I don't have any like. I honestly like the Oni as a concept don't really interest me at all at this point. Yeah, but like that ship has sailed.
Like people are saying in the chat like because like the Omega's like the ultimate like Oni, it makes sense to like end off Dragons Rising with him. But like, is he? Is he like actually?
Even if he is, like, what? Why would you end Dragons Rising off with like an Oni trilogy villain?
Yeah.
But like, why would you, like,
with like the Source Dragons being introduced, you'd think like there's probably like something like stronger on the Oni side as well. I don't know why it would just be like the crusty old like raspy fart from March of the Oni again.
If they like really go in with the whole like balance idea and actually have like Source Oni and stuff, like I guess that could be interesting.
I don't think we'll see like Source Oni. I'm subscribed to the evil 7th Source Dragon theory. Maybe that like was like the origin of the Oni or something.
Yeah. I don't know where they're gonna take the whole like because they've been setting up a bunch of like dragon lore and stuff that I'm like completely lost on currently. But that's kind of like they're trying to set it up so that it's like a mystery that'll get resolved, and like we'll learn about it and stuff eventually. But
if you went back in time and told me last year that like the entirety of like Ninjago's like story and world is going to be centered on dragons, I would have groaned so hard. But like it's so good.
Yeah, I was surprised a lot when like the name Dragons Rising got revealed because I was like, that's interesting.
I wasn't really at all. I was like, oh, more Oni and dragon stuff.
I was just like, because I didn't think that they would play into the dragons that much.
Yeah, and it's also
I kind of thought, like,
oh great, so we're stuck just doing dragon seasons now. But
yeah,
obviously the structure is completely
the thing too,
different.
because I immediately thought like, okay, dragon season, what comes to mind? Like Hunted. So is every season just gonna be like Hunted? Is it just gonna be like, oh, there's dragon? Especially like, because a lot of the previews had like, you know, Imperium kind of just being futuristic dragon hunters.
Yeah.
So it's like, is this literally just gonna be like the plot of Hunted again, but every season? But no, they made it different. Like Imperium is a completely different like sort of antagonist than the Dragon Hunters were, even if they have like similar, even if they kind of technically do the same thing. You know, they hunt dragons and they use them for their own gain. But the way the story is told is like completely different. And like the fact that Imperium's actually built out as like a place, like you don't really get to know anything about like the Dragon Hunter like village in the first film. As good as the Oni trilogy is, the world building doesn't nearly even compare to like Dragons Rising so far. I don't think any other Ninjago installment does, to be honest.
Yeah, Dragons Rising just like, I mean, like when like the entire like focus of your like new show is the world, you would like kind of hope that it'd have good world building to boot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, kind of like the whole thing falls flat. I never thought I would see a day post-Crystallized where I'm like happy to be at like the Monastery again.
Yeah, dude, the Monastery too looks like beautiful. Like it's just like this whole expansive. Like it reminds me back in like the Oni trilogy with how much I adored how the Destiny's Bounty was as like a base. I love the Oni trilogy Destiny's Bounty because there's so much detail crammed into it. Every room kind of has like its own purpose. Like it feels like a living, breathing, just home that the ninja would like, you know, like actually just hang out in and stuff. And like I feel like the Monastery, ever since it was brought back, it had like the living room and the outside area and like Wu's little place. But like now it's like, you know, I mean, I guess I had the library too, but now it's like it's so detailed and just pretty looking, and it's got like this whole dragon stables underneath it, and it's just like the way that they just, I think there's so much visually that you can do to a location just to make it feel more lived in. I think they did that expertly.
Yeah, I really like all what the merge did to it. Like when I was watching episode 2 for the first time and they were in the library and like one of the walls was just like a tree trunk, I was just thinking that's like so sick.
It's so interesting.
Like the solution to like all of these locations being like dried out and like tired as hell was literally just like, okay, it's just like weird now. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just like strange, especially because like the monasteries are like important to kind of like the lore of it as well, it seems. So it's like embracing like the strangeness and being like, yeah, this place is weird after the merge because it's not meant to like be sharing space with a bunch of other realms. I think that's really cool.
I agree.
I love how like Ninjago City looks now too, with like the crossroads being around it. It's just
my God, yeah, that's
all these
beautiful.
thrown together like houses and just like all these different realms coming together. Like I feel like they realized that really well, and the fact that we spend so many episodes kind of just being there and just seeing like the festivities of like the carnival and everything, like it's another thing where it's like it feels lived in, it feels real.
Yeah,
it doesn't just feel like a set piece.
I think helps with that a lot.
And it makes it even better when like there's a finale conflict and things are going down there. You actually feel more for like the civilians and stuff.
Yeah, because like they've spent like enough time like actually, like one bit I really like is in episode 11, like the very opening bit where it's got like the family in the car, and one of them makes like an out-of-pocket joke about the ninja being gone, and like everyone gets like mad at him. Like that is like exactly how people would react if like the ninja were real and they just vanished.
Yeah, and then you just get like a whole scene of them just saving random civilians, and it feels good.
Like it just feels like way more of a real place than like anything we've seen in Ninjago really before. And it's just because of little things like that.
I think Dragons Rising overall has just made me realize how kind of just basic and bland the world building of Ninjago has kind of been.
Yeah.
Like even when the lore building has been really good, just the actual world itself hasn't been presented in the most interesting way. It's always just been like, here's a city, here's a desert, here's a junkyard, here's a cloud city, here's an underwater temple, here's a video game world. Like none of them have really felt that fleshed out. But now in Dragons Rising, almost every place you go to, like, it feels real. I love that. I think the world building has just been the world building and the character work. I think are the two biggest strengths.
I agree.
And I think even from part 1 that was evident. Even from the first episode, it's like obvious. Like that's what the show's good at best.
Yeah, like that. Even just that like opening scene, just does such a good job at like selling you on like the civilians and stuff. Like I was watching that episode earlier today, and when like Aaron's like talking about the mud, he's like, oh, at the time we like didn't know what to call it. Just little stuff like that. Like that, like it's not like Ninjago didn't do this before with characters like Nelson and stuff, but like DR just does such a good job at like making like the civilians feel like actual people and not like oh, they're just civilians.
Yeah.
Like obviously that's still what they are, but like they do a much like better job convincing me like, oh yeah, these are like people with like actual lives and like operate the same way we do.
Yeah. It's just so good, man.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think the last time we were on a stream together, we were literally just complaining about Crystallized.
Yeah.
Like
I remember our last stream was the most doomer thing ever.
Like I think I just realized like we have not spoken a call since that stream, I don't think.
Yeah, it's been ages.
And like that was it was literally the entire stream we were like just talking about stuff, and we'd always just go, we could be talking about something completely unrelated and we'd always go back to Crystallized and just complain about it. And like, yeah, sure, whenever a lot of the time when I've talked about Dragons Rising, I find myself going back to Crystallized, mostly just to prove how much of an improvement it is. Because obviously like Crystallized was the last season, so people are still going to talk about it.
I mean,
and I think
like,
it's funny.
Dragons Rising is like the direct follow-up. Like, why wouldn't it? Like,
yeah.
Why wouldn't Crystallized come up at least like somewhat?
But like, it's more so in like a, like, look how funny, like, hilariously terrible this is compared to like how good Dragons Rising is now.
Exactly. Yeah. Like in my video so far, like Crystallized has been mentioned a bunch. That it's literally just to contrast it and go like, this is like so much better. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's not like, oh, we're bringing up Crystallized because it sucks so bad, and we're just gonna keep harping on it.
Like it's like
I mean,
hard.
There's still room to do that.
It's hard not to be like, it is hard to be as like angry as at Crystallized as we were like at the start of this year, because we know that's like, oh yeah, that's like not where the show's going now. Like that has been like thoroughly ditched.
Yeah, because at the time we weren't sure. We had no idea. We were like.
Yeah, like for most of it, it's been like, oh, Ninjago United is gonna be Harumi and shit.
Yeah, we were like talking about like if they would have like a Lloyd redemption arc.
Yeah. I feel like there was room for doing that still.
Maybe. I kind of like what they did, where it's such a long time skip, and he's just such a likable like character now.
Yeah, like I can only be so mad that it's not there because like he's just characterized so well, and I just love watching him.
He's like the most outwardly like
transition.
Like out of all the new ninja, or like out of all like the ninja like coming back, he's like the most like outwardly just like likable and like enjoyable, like just pleasant character to have on screen. And which works really well because they pair him up with Aaron, who's also extremely just like pleasant and likable and positive, and which is
I like
really
that
fun.
episode where they pair him up with Wildfire.
Oh yeah.
I thought that one was really fun. When like she gets let out of the cell for the first time, and Lloyd's like, "Oh, you've got loads of potential, but like you like suck."
Yeah. I love that. I love how Lloyd's he's just so friendly to like everyone, even when they're like literally just attacking him for no reason. It's so good. It's like we had such a big time skip that to the point where I can reasonably infer that maybe he did have some kind of like arc off screen, or maybe he did kind of like, because I don't think there's like any way like that they could have done it if they didn't have like that huge time skip and like and everything to make me just kind of like, you know, in my head be like, okay, it's been a while. It's like Crystallized was so far in the past in terms of the timeline that.
What I like about the time skip as well is that like year between Crystallized and the merge is like really interesting to me now.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely want to see what happened after Crystallized now, which is wild.
It is interesting. I think they'll actually go back on that more and give us more of like the backstory.
See,
later
here's
on,
what I
like,
think, right?
What
that
happened.
year gap, huge extended media potential.
Yeah.
Ninjago has had like a really weird relationship with extended media. It's something that it's needed to embrace for a while, but when it has, it's just went way too far in and put like essential plot stuff in there, like the ninja's powers and stuff like that. But doing that year time gap between like the defeat of the Overlord and the merge would be gold for an extended universe.
Yeah.
Because most of the people buying these books are going to be the older fans who are attached to the older characters.
The quest for lost powers did kind of give us a glimpse of that. To be fair, we did kind of we saw what each character was up to after Crystallized.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like, there's way more potential there.
There's a ton of potential, and even then, like, I guess Kai, to me, like Kai was completely mischaracterized in that. Other than that,
the writing
I think that was actually solid.
Like,
that was a good.
Whoever wrote that, just slide him on that, slide him a 20 or something, and be like, hey, write more.
Yeah, like write some more just like fun little like books like that. I would read them.
Yeah, just like time skip. It's your playground. Do what you want with it.
Just maybe rethink the Kai writing.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, it was solid. It was good.
Maybe there's room for like another Garmadon book or something like that.
Oh, dude, another Garmadon comic like series would be really interesting. I don't know what they would really do with it, but like there has to be potential with that. It's like every time he's like in a season, he kind of just leaves afterwards.
Yeah.
Like I kind of infer that at the end of the Crystallized, he did the same thing that he did at the end of Marchione, and he just kind of left. But at the same time, I don't know why he would do that because he kind of went through like a whole arc in that season.
Yeah, like that whole idea was like, oh, he's gonna like stop leaving, like actually like embrace
his
roots. So
by the way, Lloyd
acts
is like
Garmadon was like at the shop when the merge happened or something like that.
Yeah, I wonder if he was like actually like just like with the ninja.
I think he was.
Like I feel like they would have talked about. I feel like somebody would have mentioned him because they mentioned like pretty much everybody that would be in the monastery at the time. Like they even mentioned Pixel, who technically didn't even show up in like when the merge was happening. Like I don't think she was in that scene.
She was controlling the bounty. I think that's what Doc said.
Yeah. So like my guess is Garmadon probably wasn't at the monastery when it happened. Because I feel like it either would have been explained on Twitter or like with Pixel, or he would have been in that shot. But
maybe he was off like visiting Christopher or something.
Yeah. Also, that tree, I think, like when it comes to Crystallized stuff, I think Christopher and actually like seeing that, like the growth, because it's been so long. Like obviously it's like I don't know how much it would grow in like 5 years. I don't. But like
probably a fair bit. I mean,
probably a good chunk. I mean, a lot of people have been theorizing like maybe it's like one of the trees, and like that place. Like, but I don't. I mean, it was never like a tree that he planted. It was just like a
plant,
flower. So
I think it's been 6 years since Crystallized. Personally, I'm not subscribed to 5 years because like Aaron, I assume is like about 11.
Well, I was thinking it's been a year between Crystallized and the merge, right? And then it's been 5 years since the merge.
Yeah, that's what I think.
It's kind of that's kind of where I'm getting like the 5 years, like 5 years since after the merge.
Oh right, yeah, I agree then.
But yeah, I hope like that symbolism of just like that plant being there, like on that mountain, comes back in a meaningful way. I think that could be powerful if they write that in.
I agree.
Somehow. Because that's just like that's a cool piece of like it's simple. It's like literally using up the growth of a plant to symbolize growth within a character is like probably one of the most like on the nose things you could do with Garmadon, but like I don't know. I think it would be kind of cheesy, but they could do it. Have Garmadon come back to see the plant and be like, oh. And you could like it doesn't even have to be in the show. You could do that in like a Garmadon comic series too. If they chose to have it take place after the merge, I don't know.
They should do that. Have it be like, I don't know, like an anthology series of like Garmadon, like after Crystallized, and then like have like the final bit be like a few years after the merge, or something, and he goes back there. Although I guess that would raise the issue of like, why didn't he just go to the monastery? Because that's like pretty close by.
He's too cool for that. He has to have his own little. He has to have his own self-discovery.
He's got a quota of 2 seasons before he can show up again.
Yeah, he's like, it hasn't been long enough. I need to make sure Lloyd is as annoyed as possible for me to come back first. Let me wait until like one of his close friends is gone forever, so I can show up and indirectly send Wu newspaper clippings about an incoming threat.
No, I think if like anyone is gonna come back like sooner rather than later, I think it would be Garmadon, because it's like just in character for him to do that now.
Yeah.
I assume he's just got like flung somewhere like stupid far away, and it's just like going on his own little like odyssey to get back or something like that.
That'll be really cool. I'm interested. I hope that if he does show up again, he's kind of got like his comic design, because I really do like comic design, and I think it would be fitting for him.
Garmadon with the white hair would go insane.
Yeah, like Garmadon with the white hair and like the kind of like the cloth that he has and like the hat as he's traveling like the merged lands.
Okay, but here's the question. You know how the Lord Garmadon minifigure leaked?
Yeah.
For season 2. What are the chances?
Did the actual minifig leak, or just like the fact that he's in the sets?
Yeah. What do you think the chances are that the leaker saw the new purple Lord Raz figure and thought it was Garmadon?
I think there's a good chance. Because if you just take the torso and leg printing, you could definitely assume that that's a Garmadon minifig.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if he's not actually in season 2.
I'd be a bit disappointed because again, it like, is in character for him to like come back soon.
I think he should be in season 2, but I also wouldn't be. I think he'll come back eventually. I think it's pretty much guaranteed. Like he'll come back eventually. I'm fine if it's not until season 3, or even 4. Again, we don't really know how long it's gonna go, but I'd assume if it does well, it'll go on for however many. Like I don't know if they have like a set amount of seasons they want to do. Like if they have a set conclusion, I would hope they have at least an ending in mind.
Yeah.
So that they can have a season that can act as an ending, and then if, you know, they're greenlit to do more, they can. But I don't know. My current guess is like 3 to 4 seasons. I think 3 is in my head. Just yeah, I think it's definitely possible. I just think the current story, like overall arc they have planned, is probably about that long, and then they might start a new story.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it as like, okay, when this whole overarching story ends is when Dragons Rising is finished. And like
yeah, I could see them doing multiple overarching stories within the same show, possibly.
The original show lasted a long time, dude.
Yeah, but the original show was also not made with an overarching story in mind at all. It was made like step by step. I can't see them having an overarching story and just continually like extending the ending to be further out. But
I genuinely think that's what's gonna happen. I think at most this is gonna run for about like 7 years. That's my guess.
I mean, as long as it feels naturally like continued and not like extended out for the sake of having more seasons, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's kind of my take exactly. What they have at the minute is like a format that would work for like a long spanning period of time though. Like they have already lent themselves very well to just being able to do a bunch of, you know, just like episodic fun stuff. So have you watched Adventure Time?
I've watched like the first. I think we talked about this a long time ago. I watched like the first 4 seasons and can never get past the 4th one.
Okay, so even from the first 4 seasons, I think you can see they drag out the plot so much.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not like a bad thing necessarily, because they've got like a bunch of like really fun, just like slice of life episodes in there.
Yeah, it's like.
But like plot points will like start in like season 5 and then just randomly get picked up again like 3 seasons from them.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm kind of more used to like I'm more of the like I kind of like shows more like say like Gravity Falls or Avatar: The Last Airbender where
it's very serious.
They have a strict amount of time that they want to tell their story in. and they have like slice of life episodes in between. They have like goofy, fun, like, you know, stuff that's like more episodic, but they all aid to developing either a character or building out the world. And I think Dragons Rising, to me, it feels like that's the direction they're going. I think if it was gonna be more like Adventure Time, it would have a lot of episodes that literally could be actually like skipped, like filler worthy like stuff. Because like I'd imagine in Adventure Time, I haven't seen it in a while, but I'd imagine if you wanted to just watch like the plot of the show, there's a lot of stuff you could realistically skip. I'd assume, right? Yeah. In Dragons Rising, I don't think there's a single episode you could call filler. Like I don't think you could skip it.
But I feel like Dragons Rising would lend itself quite well to dragging itself out a bit.
Yeah.
Because of, like,
but if they wanted to do that,
set up.
I wouldn't mind. It would feel a little jarring if they decided like halfway through to be like, okay, yeah, we want to have like literal filler episodes in here, like, because I don't consider filler as like a bad thing. I feel like
as long as there's very little of it, I don't know.
But like like I'm fine if they wanted to do that. It's just I think it would be jarring now because it feels like every episode so far has been important.
Yeah.
And especially for Ninjago, it is very jarring. And I see filler be used a lot with Ninjago, especially in like season 11. I don't think there's maybe one or two I'm forgetting in like the 11-minute era, but I don't think there's really necessarily like a single actual filler episode that you can skip in Ninjago without missing something important.
Yeah.
Even back in like season 2, every episode kind of had a purpose.
Like the closest thing I can think of there is I guess like the absolute worst, but like even then they slap like the Fugitive J rivalry in your face like so hard and Crystallized.
Yeah, and in that way it's exactly like, you know, like Gravity Falls or Avatar, where it's you can't really skip anything.
Yeah.
And get the full experience. But in Adventure Time, you could skip a lot.
Yeah, you could skip like 50% of that show and still get the whole story.
And you're probably missing out, but you're missing out on a lot of, you know, like fun
like
episodes.
Adventure Time's like a fun like episodic comedy.
And it's like I don't think that's an issue because it's like Adventure Time's like a show where it's like like anything could go down, and like if I'm gonna watch that show, I would probably watch it all the way through because I want to see all the antics that happen and I want to see all the stuff. Even if there's an episode that doesn't even have Finn and Jake in it, I still want to see it because just like the Land of Ooh is like a fun place and they come up with fun stories.
Even then, I think in the like once in a blue moon event when new Adventure Time stuff comes out, you like never know what they're gonna pull from. Like it could be any random like episode. Like there's this season 5 episode. I honestly can't remember which one it is, but there's a scene where like Finn and Jake are getting like their balls like busted by this like one like enemy, and Jake's like, oh Finn, like if we die, I'm gonna do this like clapping like pattern. Find me in the afterlife, right? And Finn's just like, what are you talking about? Shut up. And then like literally I think like 7 years later in the special where they die, that is like referenced and like is a plot point.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that on Twitter. That's
literally anything from like a random like skippable episode could pop up and become like a major plot point, like years down the line.
That is true. Yeah, there's a lot of ways they can do it. I think I prefer for Dragons Rising if they didn't stretch it out, but I think
I don't think they should too long, but I think this is a story that could last like 7 seasons. Just do like a season a year.
I think if they have enough interesting like stuff, because like each season is kind of like its self-contained thing. Like I guess, or like I don't know, because like Imperium will probably show up again, but it won't be like as important in season 2. I'm assuming. So obviously you can wrap up major like plot threads and arcs and stuff and still have room for new stories after that. So yeah. Also, I'm doing terribly this match.
I was gonna say,
in particular already. Yeah, I was like, I've just been spotting it and like dying this match.
Look out, there's a guy in camo going near our flag. Yeah, there he is.
Also, with stuff like this, I'm always like focusing on the conversation. I'm just like idly playing the game.
True.
Yeah. Does chat have any interesting questions or?
I've barely read chat this whole stream.
No.
I think I responded to one message.
I don't know what to bring up next.
Okay, and I open chat and I just instantly get shredded by some guy with a pistol.
Oh, the entire like. Team
Extreme hot take: Crystallized was a better series finale than March of the Oni.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I don't even really like March of the Oni, but like, that's like Crystallized is a whole other, like Crystallized is like a whole other level of like, not good. I wouldn't even consider March of the Oni like bad. It's just yeah. Crystallized is far worse in my opinion. I don't think either of them are fantastic series finales personally, but I know me and Krusty don't necessarily agree on March of the Oni.
March of the Oni is goated. If Ninjago just ended there forever, I would be completely happy. I mean, like, it doesn't have, like, the stakes that you'd expect from a series finale, but, like, Ninjago has always been, like, characters have been, like, the best part of it, so having it be, like, solely character-driven, pretty good move.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I feel like I need to make a video on March of the Oni one day, because I have a lot of thoughts on it.
I do too.
But I feel like I can't properly express without writing them all out. It's hard for me to just talk about it and like give my thoughts like on the spot.
Oh, I haven't just been missing with the sniper. I've been embarrassingly missing. Okay, there we go. Yeah, what are you saying?
I was just saying like March of the Oni is like one of those seasons where it's just like I don't hate it, but it's one that I don't really like, but it's for a lot of reasons I feel like a lot of people wouldn't expect, but it's also because of that, it's just like I have to write them out. Like I can't just like on the spot be like this is exactly why I feel this way, because it's one of those things where it's like I know it doesn't really jive with me, but I have to deep dive and analyze it to figure out why first.
Yeah, that's understandable. Oh my god, that was such a
it's not an easy season to like just break apart for me. Especially because it's only 4 episodes. Like it's just it's structured very differently from the average Ninjago installment. It's just like it walks a fine line between being like this season and like a special, and
Have
also
you seen the
a
movie
conclusion. I've not.
It's like people like call it like terrible, but it's like really not that bad. There's like one edit in it which is absolutely god awful. But other than that, it's like the best way to watch it, I think. Do you know about the edit I'm talking about?
I do not.
So,
I know nothing.
It's like, okay, so the Faith like whole monologue about like the Oni is moved to the start, which I think is a really good move. But
that's interesting.
In the end, so the Cole stuff is completely gone, right? Up until when he shows back up on the battlefield, to which it does like that whole thing as a flashback in the middle of the final battle.
Oh yeah, like, I'm starting to remember now. I'm starting to remember now, yeah. Because they did the whole like they did the whole like TV movie thing, right?
Yeah.
Alongside the release, and I remember people were hyping it up because it was like Tommy and Jason said something along the lines of like this is like the movie that like fans deserve, because everyone was like. And
then it's just like 4 episodes stitched together.
Yeah, and it was just 4 episodes poorly stitched together, and it was kind of disappointing.
I mean, like other than that edit with Cole, I thought like it was a really well done movie cut, but that one edit is just so stupid. Like, why would you flash back to like a 7-minute long scene during the final battle?
Yeah, I remember seeing that. It's just very jarring. I was like, maybe they'll make it work because it's like the way that they leave the cliffhanger like so soon after. But I think it's if they're gonna do that, like just reveal that Cole's like alive right away. Don't even entertain it. I think if I were to cut it, I would literally move that scene to like right after he fell.
Yeah.
Like I would literally have like, this is Cole falling. This is them being like, this is like the whole sad scene where they're sad about it. Next shot, oh, Cole's alive. Like, don't dwell on that.
Yeah.
It doesn't fix the writing for me, but like, don't even try to pretend like that happens. That's what I would do personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that's what they do a lot nowadays, because they're just so self-aware of it. Like, I'm pretty sure in Dragons Rising, there's literally a scene where, like, Nia's like, I don't know if my brother, I don't know if I'll ever find him again. Next scene, so Kai casually walking through, like, the fog, like, doing quips. Like, it's so good.
I was thinking,
like,
I can't think of a single
that.
fake-out death in Dragons Rising, but, like, that one was, like, so good, I just completely forgot about it.
Yeah, because it's barely a fake out. It's like
it's
they even
like
did that in even like Crystallized isn't like, I don't commend them for doing this in Crystallized because they already had like 4 other fake out deaths. But like the ninja all on the subway train, like Harumi blowing them up and being like, well, they're all dead, and then they cut, and then like Jay's like immediately quipping. In that instance, it's more frustrating because of the context. But in Dragons Rising, it's
Dragons Rising, it's like very much played up as a gag. Like with Crystallized, it's like unintentional humor.
Yeah. But I think they specifically did that just to be like, yeah, we're not even gonna like try to bait you on this one. They're fine. And I think it works in that instance because it's like, oh, Lloyd thinks they're. It's like the whole hunted thing. Lloyd thinks they're dead, but like that at the start of Hunted, but it's.
But I mean, like the Hunted one's done like really well.
Yeah, Hunted was done far better.
And it's like known from the start that he didn't die, so it's not really a fake out death more than like Lloyd just being in the dark about like what actually happened.
Yeah. But like in the same sequence, you're seeing that they're like being transported somewhere else. Like that whole scene would have a completely different vibe if they just like never showed the Traveler's Tea working, and they just crushed it and made us think that they're dead. Like that would have been really lame.
Okay, we've got a donation from GX Robert, which thank you so much for that, by the way. But if you've seen GX Robert on Twitter, you already know what the question's gonna be. Thoughts on Ryu?
Ryu is epic. I love Ryu, honestly, so much. Okay, I haven't gotten a really chance to talk about Ryu. But I actually really like Ryu because the way that they animate him, and like, I don't know, like, if they, because for a lot of the like animal characters on shows, they have like a actual voice actor like doing the sounds. I don't know if, like, if they did that for Ryu, because I haven't seen like the voice credits for him, but whatever they did, Ryu, like, the sounds he makes is perfect.
See,
and the way they animate him and the little mannerisms and the shot in the finale of him of like him comforting Sora is just, oh my god.
My favorite shot of Ryu is when he's like has like himself like pressed up to the Source Dragon cage and he's just like, oh my god, this is my dad.
I like, it's not like,
just like, wow,
you would
expect
you'd expect him to be like this annoying like animal mascot guy.
No, I was completely expecting to hate him like Baby Yoda or Chompy.
To me, he fills the role of like Pikachu from like the original like Pokemon Indigo League anime, right?
Yeah.
He's just like so endearing, and like that you can buy like the relationship between like him and Sora. Like it feels like there's like a bond there. I just love it.
I think it's such a cool idea how like one of the main characters of the team just like cannot speak English. And it's just like a dragon. That's like so fun.
It's just a little baby dragon. And I assume he's gonna get to grow up over the course of the series, which I'm really excited to see.
Do you think he's a Source Dragon?
I don't know if he's a Source Dragon, but I think it's possible maybe. But I think he'll be important. I think he'll definitely be. I think he probably has to be, right? Because like
because the Source Dragon was hyping him up.
He has to be plot relevant in some way, other than like being the one to get. Because he also gives Sora powers, and I don't think any of the other dragons can do that, right? Other than the Source Dragons.
Matriarch.
Oh, the Matriarch. Okay. He is an important type of dragon, I'd assume.
I mean, yeah, the Source Dragon was doing like, oh, you are like very special. And it's like, do you know how much stuff that guy has seen? Like that guy has literally been there since okay, so imagine we have like an old guy, right? Who's been around since the literal Big Bang, and he goes up to like this one particular kid and goes like, "Oh yeah, you're special." That kid's gotta be important.
You would think. He's the show's one. He's literally like the Green Ninja Legacy, but for dragons.
Yeah. You have to defeat the
yeah,
dragon
I'm interested. I want to learn more about Ryu, because like I feel like there's some cool backstory there, and I want to see him like grow up over the course of like the show.
Me too.
I think that'd be really cool. I think there's a lot of potential to like actually do a lot with Ryu. Because like to be fair, yeah, so far he's really only been there just to be like a plot device for Sora to use her powers. But I think that's just like kind of like his role for now. I think he'll have a lot more stuff to do later on, and he's like so endearing that it's like he's just fun to have around.
He's such a dummy. I really like him. Like in that first episode where like he like jostles around like the giant crate he's in, and like there's a whole reveal, and he just flies out and just instantly like flops over on his face. It's so funny.
They just do. There's so many background gags too, where like they don't have to include it, but the animators just like have them do it like funny stuff in the background of shots and stuff. It's just like that kind of stuff just makes them feel like they actually care about making Ryu like just a fun little guy to have tag along through. But he's not just there purely for like marketing.
Merchandising.
Yeah. Even though I do feel like that's probably why he was created in the first place, but.
Oh, stole the sniper.
No.
But yeah, like. Ryu is like the marketable plushie character. I'm just glad he's like a good marketable plushie character.
Yeah. He's more of a more in the Pikachu and Momo range.
And less of like a Baby Yoda.
Yeah, less of a Baby Yoda.
I hate Baby Yoda so much.
I haven't even watched like most of Mandalorian, so
don't. Like the first season is like really good, and then it just like falls off a cliff.
Yeah, I heard the first season was really good, so I was tempted to watch it.
Watch the first season, and then watch like half of the second season, and then just drop it.
Yeah. I'm also not that big into Star Wars though, so.
That's fair enough.
I know that's a rarity these days.
I can't blame you for not being into Star Wars. I mean, it's coming from someone who likes Star Wars.
If I gave my opinions on Star Wars, people would get very mad at me.
I missed every shot of that sniper. I'm so sorry.
I like how you're worried about like playing well.
Every single bullet.
I'm glad I'm not streaming this, because I would just be making a fool out of myself.
I mean, that's what I'm usually doing, because usually I'm playing with controller on stream. Because if I don't, hold on, I'll put the mic on the table. Do you hear that like keyboard noise?
I think Discord noise suppression blocks it out, but it's probably heard on stream.
Yeah, the stream viewers will definitely hear it.
Yeah, the stream
So,
will hear it.
it's like I was saying to you on Discord, I can either like play good or like have good audio and just like eat dirt.
So yeah, I'm just bad at video games, so you know, I just kind of play them and like just focus on conversation. I just block out. It's just something for me to do.
I have phases where I'm like really good at Halo, but like more often than not, I am absolutely miserable at this game.
I think if I focused and like actually like tried to play, that'd be pretty good.
That's fair.
I just like it's just like one of those like FPS games that's just fun to like hop on and play while you're talking to people.
I agree.
Talking about how awesome Ryu is, because there's only a select few amount of people giving him enough praise, and unfortunately I've not been one of them, but that should change.
I need to talk about him in the review.
It's funny because of how much like I'm just like, yeah, I've never talked about it, but Ryu's awesome. Like when I think about it, I'm just like, they actually did him well.
Ryu's like entirely nice. Just like visual storytelling, and I think that's sick.
Yeah. Oh. Got naded.
Yeah, nade spam in this game is still a pretty big thing, which is wild because it's been like 2 years.
I should be taking advantage of it. I have not been using my grenades.
Literally, yeah. Whenever you see like a bunch of enemies, because like your grenades like can't kill your teammates, it's just the enemies. Like in previous Halos, how they'd stop like nade spam is that like you could friendly fire enemies. So like if you like threw a bunch of nades into a fight, it would like, you know, you'd be like screwing over your own team as well. But in Infinite, they've removed friendly fire, so, and also nades got like way faster, so nade spam became like a huge part of the game.
Gotcha.
And like the community keeps complaining about nade spam, but like just can't put 2 and 2 together and think like, oh yeah, it's the friendly fire that's encouraging people to do it for whatever reason.
I feel like modern games are too scared to have friendly fire, so like, oh, people are gonna like roll with it.
It's in friendly fire is in ranked in this game, but I think it should be in every playlist.
I guess they only trust the pro players to not goof around and troll each other.
I saw this clip the other like month of this guy, because like what people do in Halo often is like they'll like betray their teammates so they can get like the sniper.
Yeah.
And this one guy, he had this like 2000s era rock music on. He was playing ranked on stream. He like betrayed one of his teammates and just went on like an 8-person killing spree with the sniper. Like if it was like any other play, I'd be like, wow, that's like a dick move. But like he did so well with that sniper.
Yeah, he popped off with it.
But people were getting so angry. There are people like in the replies acting like he was the absolute scum of the earth for like taking a video game sniper away from someone. It was so funny.
That's funny. This is why we do friendly fire and everything. So, I guess keep it out of battle royales.
Yeah. Oh god, Fortnite with friendly fire back in the day was absolutely
that was like, yeah.
That was completely horrendous.
Game in any mode with respawn, keep it on. It's fun. Not that I would, you know, troll my teammates or anything.
Yeah, no, I'd never.
Never.
You know the green stuff on the floor there?
Yeah.
That's Mountain Dew.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Is that the lore?
Yeah, that's actually the lore behind this map. That is giant pools of Mountain Dew.
Was it sponsored or?
Yeah, it's sponsored. This like whole playlist is like this. Why it's called Refueled. It's like tied into how like Halo 3 had like a huge like Mountain Dew push back in the day.
That's funny.
And like now they have like the Infinite playlist with like the Mountain Dew sponsor back. So like if you like go out and like, because you live in the US, right?
Yeah.
If you like buy Mountain Dew, you can get like an exclusive like camo for your Spartan.
That's
I would get it, but it's not in the UK because Halo hates British people.
Oh. Shame on you, Halo.
Really cool. I think you can see it in like the news section of the game. Yeah. Actually, you can just see it on the thumbnail for the playlist. If you click Halo 3 Refuel, just that like orange and red camo guy is the one you get with it. I think I'm gonna play another match or two, and then we're gonna have to end the stream now because it's getting late.
Sounds good.
And my work wants me to wake up at 4 AM tomorrow.
Oh, fun. Alright, I gotta lock in.
This is going to be the game where you pop off.
Totally.
Twisted Sandwich just said, how many times does Ninjago City got to be attacked before they stop rebuilding it?
It will always be attacked.
No, he has a point. There's got to be a point where they just think, is this place just like a lost cause?
Yeah, well... Where else do you... I guess... Yeah, they've never even tried, like, making it... No, when they made like new Ninjago City,
yeah.
But make it somewhere else. Don't build it on the ashes of the literal Overlord next time.
God, what was he thinking?
And then don't have the Overlord die again in the same place and continue building there and form the entire merged realms like crossroads section where the Overlord died.
Oh my god, do you think Frohickey had like an overlord crystal in like his basement or something?
Yeah, he had it and it started saying, bring this to the Temple of Light.
Go to the Oni Temple. Oh,
go
yeah,
to the new Oni Temple that I just made. It's pretty cool.
I built it in between. I don't know, like.
I got a really good interior designer in here.
I made it just in case. Dude, yeah, that Oni Temple. I don't know what kind of like evil contractor they had in there, but it looked so good.
Can we get the backstory? Like, who did Harumi hire for that?
Like, the Oni Temple is this like dilapidated like piece of crap.
I wonder
if
if
they made that place so nice.
I wonder if they got someone from Shintaro, like King Vangelis, was like, oh yeah, I know a guy who designed like all my palaces.
Like, it's so dripped out, like the drawbridge for the mouth and everything.
Yeah.
Like, dude, the Overlord.
Like, bro made sure that that place looked as cool as possible. So funny to me. Yeah, no, I hope the piece of like one of the crystals on the ground, and then Lloyd just like kicks it off to the side.
Just, like,
at that point, it's like the Teapot of Tyran thing gag where they just keep bringing it up, like they just keep showing it.
Sees when he just like
knowing full well that they're never gonna do anything with it. Which, thank God.
They should do that with the Overlord. They should have that gag center on the Overlord.
Yeah, because that would actually be funny, because it's something that people actually actively like would hate.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone would unanimously be like, don't bring the Overlord back, and they'd keep like teasing it like as if they were going to. But they're just like, yeah, whatever. Actually, we're just trolling.
That'd be incredibly funny.
I think that'd be funny.
I mean, the Overlord's in dormancy now, so like, he's already like gearing up for his like 6th defeat.
Oh yeah, the Overlord's already like, you know, Wu's gonna get some newspapers pretty quick here. Just start sending them to all the monasteries. Like, I don't know. Look at all these. Look at the merge. Ooh, it's prophesizing my return.
All the clippings are gonna get sent to like the wrong monastery this time. Like, there's just gonna be a bunch at like the Imperial Monastery.
They're all gonna get sent to like Raz or something. Raz is just gonna be like, dude, what are you even doing?
Raz's master. Is it gonna be the Overlord?
Oh my God! Don't even.
The fact that that's like actually credible as well is scary.
I hate that. I don't think that'll happen. They know better. Raz knows better.
We said that like a few years ago.
Yeah, you're right. It's the preeminent.
That would go kind of hard. That'd be really stupid, but it would go hard.
It'd be really stupid, but it's like, oh, Moro. That's how Moro referred to the preeminent. It must be the preeminent.
Oh, but what if Raz's master is like another like physical embodiment of a realm?
That'll be interesting, actually.
I don't know how it would work given Raz was working for him like before the merge.
Nauticon. Blue Nauticon.
I mean, we already have a blue Nauticon now. We've got Aracor.
Right.
That's so funny how like
Nauticon.
after all of that like blue Nauticon stuff, we got like a Jin who wears blue.
Now we need like Nauticon to come back who wears red and he's like blue skin.
I remember when like
I'm actually okay.
The design for Aracor came out, people were like, "Oh, it's not blue Nauticon." And I'm just thinking, yes, it is. Like the blue Nauticon was that he was wearing blue, not that he was blue.
Yeah, yeah. No, the whole Jin thing actually is really interesting to me because like if I actually do rebuild Ninjago, like my main worry is like what is stopping like them from just going to Aracor and being like, all right, now that you have like Ninjago and like a bunch of wishes, like your wish power is restored, can we just wish for anything now?
Yeah.
Like how are they gonna fix that issue? I'm curious. Because it seems like they were setting up for Ninjago to return.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially it would make sense because like the merge is here. Why have all these cool realms and then just exclude Ninjago because it was destroyed? Like no, they wanna have that back. Obviously, they're gonna wanna use that. But like, what's stopping them from just giving wishes to the Ninja whenever they want them.
Dude, I just realized we're not playing Slayer. We are playing Land Grab, and we are losing horrendously.
I didn't realize it.
I didn't even notice.
I don't think I've gotten a single kill. I've died like 4 times, 5 times. Yeah, 5 times. Oh, I've gotten 4 kills. That's okay. 4 and 5. We're fine. We're fine, guys.
We're fine.
That's funny.
Alright.
I'm interested for the gym. It'd be cool.
Me too. I think it's
Is
time
that a
to end
wrap?
the stream there, yeah, because I
Cool.
gotta get to sleep. We gotta do more of these. This was fun.
Yeah, this was fun. This
Right.
is chill.
For everyone in the chat, thank you for watching. Don't lose hope for the Dragons Rising review. It's coming, hopefully, before the end of this year. I don't know, whenever I stop being busy and sick and whatnot. But yeah, so hopefully it's coming soon. Bender, you got anything to say? I've kind of ran out of stuff to say now.
Not really. That's a actually, I'll do a quick plug. I'm probably also gonna be streaming tomorrow with with why am I blanking on names? I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow, ranking Dragons Rising episodes with guests, so check that out.
And I might be on there if I'm not like unconscious when that stream's happening. I have no idea what. Hold on, let me look that up real quick.
It's gonna be.
I was like,
It's gonna be at 3. It's gonna be at 3 p.m. Eastern.
I might be able to make that. We'll have to see.
Yeah. So yeah.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you some other time.